I'm Josh Light with PoliticIt.com here in Washington with Dan Matthews. He's a Republican running for Congress in District 2. How you doing today, Dan?
Great. Good to be here.
Well, thanks for coming with us. So, Dan, tell me big differences between you and your competitor in this race.
Okay, well, the biggest difference is he's the incumbent, I'm not. But the real serious side is he has no military background. I'm a retired veteran. I flew in Vietnam and Desert Storm as an Air Force pilot. So that's a clear difference. Our district has two pretty large military bases on it. So he's on the House Armed Services Committee, yet no military background. And that's a substantive difference right there. Next is my experience in the private sector, if you will. My experience as a pilot with the airlines, and we have a lot of transportation issues. And now retired from that, but as an instructor with a Boeing company. I instruct in the 747, and of course the largest employer in our district is the Boeing company. Their main factory up in the Everett area is probably one of the largest buildings in the world, in fact, under one roof. And they construct all the 747s and the 777s and, of course, the new generation 787s. So I'm pretty conversant about that industry. I was in a pilots union for 31 years. It's a large union presence in our district. That and having served 4 years on a school board, so education issues, all of these are background that my opponent doesn't have. All he's ever done is work in the public sector, 2 years on a county council, and then he went to Congress. So it's kind of a short resume. He's been in Congress as a politician for 12 years, and really our district is pretty diverse. It's what we call the saltwater district, a lot of ferries, a lot of islands, and a lot of coastline, but substantively, education is an important issue. We have one university up in Bellingham, and so education issues are critical, and jobs and the economy. But all of that speaks to the background that I bring. Plus, I have experience in the private sector as a businessman, both for a private nonprofit business I ran and for a for-profit developing property. So it's a kind of a lifetime of experience, but it bears on representing the people in our district.
And Dan, when you were out talking to people in District 2, what fiscal issues have you found people are really concerned about?
Oh, bar none, it's the economy. Just the first fiscal obvious is the balance of the budget. You know, people balance their budget at home all the time. Even a college student knows that they can't spend more than you bring in, or somebody wants you to answer for that. And it's true for parents and families. Everybody balances their budget. Businesses have to balance their budget. Yet our federal government seems incapable of really tackling that issue. And meeting with people, my wife and I have gone around for the last several months, and it's just universal. People are really troubled with that issue and with the fact that they can't get unstuck. You know, the gridlock they talk about and all that. And what people want is answers and action. And I think that the bottom line is the people who got us in this situation seem to be not to be the ones who are going to get us out. It's going to take a new direction, a new approach to it. And getting the job done is the big thing. And that's what I think people really want.
And Dan, when you're out talking to people in District 2, have you found anyone concerned about any social issues here?
Well, there's a lot of social issues, but I think they're taking a back seat to the economy. It's a big social issue when your kids can't get jobs after college. Our son, our third son, who graduated from college a year and a half ago, has got he's been employed as a coach and a fitness trainer and all that. He's living at home, as an economic necessity. Because he's in what we call transition jobs. But, everybody's having to make sacrifices, and that puts a real concern in every family and that's a big social issue, is just getting a job and making ends meet.
And what are you going to do to help the economy if you're elected to Congress?
Well, I think obvious in answer to these previous ideas is balance the budget, drive to balance the budget. If we don't tackle that, everything else will be secondary to that issue. Congress has to get some guts to really get down and tackle the economic concern of less spending. They're just spending. There's an old joke about spending like a drunken congressman. My gosh, that's what we got. It's just we're spending like congressmen, and we need to stop. And Revenue has to be addressed as well, and that means getting rid of some of the tax loopholes and those kind of things, both for the upper end and especially business. You know, when Microsoft doesn't pay any taxes last year, everybody has to scratch their head. You got to be kidding, you know. So that all comes back to all of us. You know, we need to shore up the whole, both revenue and expenditures, and I'm really concerned with a lot of the expenditures in all areas, whether it's defense or whatever. We just waste money in government, and that doesn't have to be. We don't have to accept that. And I think that the past is overrepresented in Congress. It's the future that has to be represented. We have to look to the future, and I don't want to pass to my kids or my grandkids a debt that is just, you know, going to cripple their future, and it will if we don't do something now.
Now, Dan, we actually analyzed your data online. You had a very impressive IT score. You have a good online presence. What have you done to improve that?
Well, from the start, we, of course, created our website and saw that this is the way to get your message out, to get to everybody. And the first thing I did is interview interns of your generation, you know, that my kids' generation basically is, you know, half of being smart is knowing what you're dumb at. And while in the airlines and of course, in the large planes, we know technology, but we know that the technology of today, the communication of today, has to come. And so the interns that we have, young guys, particularly one, Austin, has just really tackled the issue of our Facebook presence, and interlinking Facebook and Twitter has been kind of unique. Not everybody does that, so that when he sends a Facebook response out, it goes out as a tweet too. And we also advertise on Facebook and have increased that. You know, we're at, just in a few months, we're at 4,000 likes. So our advertising presence has really helped to spread the message. You know, I explain to older people, they're going, well, what's that mean? Well, I tell them, it's like yard signs. They relate to that. One like is like a yard sign. And a yard sign impacts 110 people, they tell us. A bumper sticker impacts more than 500 people. So getting your name in front of people is the first thing, but then bringing it back through Facebook, back to our main website, where they can really look at our issues, our positions, and my philosophy. That's what matters, because people need to know the candidate. They need to connect, and that's the whole issue. But the advertising thing that we've just really gone after, I think, has been critical. Plus the links we have within our website, where you can link to things like the debt clock, U.S. debt clock. So people don't have to go scurrying when we talk about that. They can link right away. Information, providing people that information, the power to find out what the issues are and why it matters and how it affects them.
Now, Dan, tell me how your campaign's going right now.
Well, it's been a real, you know, we've got 672,000 plus people in the district. So we've got all are part of 5 counties. It's pretty diverse, pretty spread out. And so they call it running for a reason, because we're on the run all the time, driving to one event or the other, meet and greets and those kind of things, just meeting people. And really, for me, it's a people business. And if you don't love people, you shouldn't be in the business, because meeting people, finding out what's critical to them. And it's been pretty gratifying to see the engagement. I haven't done this except for the school board years ago. So my sense is, though, that the American public is really engaged, young and old. I was at one conference where there was 10,000 people there, and 55% of them were 25 and under. The youth of today are engaged. They're knowledgeable about politics, probably more than my generation. They tell us that 85% of the public doesn't really know. They really aren't engaged. But the young generation today knows about politics. They know about the political players, and they may not know all the nuances, but the thing is that the issues facing them are affecting them, and they're aware. And things like the media that we've been accessing are helping us to spread the message. Where we can contact, in a maximum over a couple months, we can contact, say, 20,000 people just directly face to face. Our social media, like 4,000 likes, we know that we're contacting a lot more. So a lot of our outreach to people, for example, in contributing, is money bombs that go out not as mail, snail mail, but goes out as email, e-bombs, that we give people, you know, a week to get $10,000 to get a mailing out, and people respond, and you can see the meter go up. It's just It's just a different way, but it works. It reaches people both with the need to get our message out and for people seeing who and what we are. But that is the main benefit of just going around and telling other people and having other people just pass it on.
Dan, where can people go to learn more about you?
Okay, well, danmatthewsforcongress.com is the website. They can reach me at dan@danmatthewsforcongress.com. We're on Facebook as well, and just go to us, look us up, and give us a like, give us a shout or sometime comment. It's amazing. It really sharpens us and keeps us on message and knowing what people are concerned with. That's the whole idea of representing people.
Well, thanks, Dan.
Thank you for this opportunity. It's been great.